Miami Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. Can I please have a roll call of members present? Madam Secretary.
Okay, the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee members are Andrea McDonald, here, Lola Capers, Jake Canapari, Evan Shields,
Here.
Ebony Crispin, Marie-France Jean Farens, Michael McDermott, Naomi Blemeur,
Present.
Edwidge Clark, Gera Theodore,
Here.
Honorable Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy.
Thank you. I will now entertain a Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. McDermott, will you mind leading us in that, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to take a point of personal privilege just to thank all of our staff and members of our AHAC for coming on what really is a solemn day for our city and our country of September 11th. Let us never forget how that date has affected all of us. And I know that we have business to be done, and but I appreciate, especially on such a solemn day, us coming together just to get the business done of our city. Thank you. Okay, that said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting. So moved. All in favor? Or excuse me, is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Okay. Moving forward to new business. So for those who may be joining us for the first time, this is the third year that our Affordable Housing Advisory Committee has been reinstated. We've received a certain amount of state funds from our state legislature for affordable housing uses, both affordable home ownership and development. And we're charged by our state government to meet locally at the beautiful city of North Miami to set policy on behalf of our city for affordable housing. And that's the main purpose of our AHAC. The policy that we set as an AHAC goes before our city council for approval, and then from there, those policies go to the state for further ratification. The last 3 years, we've done an amazing job as a committee. So today will be a very quick meeting of just one policy that we'll be entertaining. But over the last 3 years, we've created one of the first municipal community land trusts in our region, not just our county's history. We have helped cut red tape for affordable housing developments that are truly affordable for very low-income families, which I know so many of us just all care about so much, and it does a huge service to all of us, especially in a time when, even after COVID, and even if inflation is going down a little bit, affordability is the biggest crisis that all of us are dealing with. We've also had some very significant wins when it comes to streamlining impact fee waivers for truly affordable developments. And so that said, what we'll do in today's meeting is we're actually going to go through the 11 policies that are recommended to us by the state to decide on. I will give a very quick synopsis of each and where our recommendations were from the minutes of our previous meeting. And then after that, I'll entertain a motion from our team here to see what we'll recommend for our council and for our state to ratify. Okay, so I'll run through these in order as expeditiously as I can. Is everything okay?
We thought Donia was going to put it up for those who are
Oh, who are watching? I can speak very slowly as we pull it up for those at home watching. No problem at all.
It's
So we're-
on.
So we're just going to do a quick mic check, make sure everybody can be heard.
Hello? Nope. The light is green.
Okay, now you are on.
Okay. Are you able to put it up for us?
Okay. We just want to make sure all the tech in our city is working. Maybe that was too soon to make that joke. But. Okay. Okay, fantastic. As you see on our screen here, we have the policies that, is there any way we can zoom in a little bit? Is that?
No, I don't think we can zoom in because Dunya already told me.
Here she comes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty hard for folks at home to see. Is this published on our website as well
Yes, yes.
for folks to review? Okay, I just want to make sure that. Okay, so just to narrate what's on the screen here for folks at home, this is a draft of our report that is really encompassed from our meetings the last couple of months. We have one annual public meeting at City Hall, which we're doing today, which is our public forum, where we'll actually vote on this report. My understanding is this is on our website. And I want to just make sure that this goes to the public if it's not there after this meeting, please. Okay, just to run through each of these. Okay. So just to quickly run through this, we had our first meeting on January of this year. We discussed that density flexibility would be our priority for, oh, thank you so much for zooming in. I appreciate that. Okay. I know I have glasses on, but even I couldn't see that before. Thank you. Okay. In January of this year, we decided that density flexibility, as in providing flexibility in the number of units that an affordable project in our city could withstand, would be one of our priorities when it comes to policy as an AHAC. In March of this year, we met and we discussed that in further detail. And coincidentally, between March and May, there was this really big thing called the Live Local Glitch Amendment, which actually did our entire job for us almost and set forward from a state level what municipalities can do to push density for certain affordable projects that are approved in their municipalities. And so during that meeting in May, we decided that we wanted to even further drill down just to provide some guardrails when it comes to density flexibility, that developers in our city weren't using Live Local as a loophole to get certain things done that the city or the people didn't want to have done in the city. And we'll talk more about that and what we proposed forward. And then in July of this year, we finalized our language for that policy, and now we're meeting in our final meeting of the year, September 11th. Okay. Next, I'll just briefly go through our 11 policy strategies that the state asks us to make recommendations on, and I'll briefly go through what is summarized in our AHAC report. Each of these go through various pieces of affordable home ownership and affordable multifamily development in our city. Expedited permitting, we actually already, a couple years back, presented some policy here. And so for this meeting, we decided no recommendation. We already made a recommendation a few years back that for any projects by our city that are approved by our Community Redevelopment Agency, that those projects that have a set aside of 15% of their units for very low income residents, that they be considered for comprehensive expedited permitting processes. For impact fee waivers, this year we decided no recommendation. A few years back, this body recommended that for a development that had a majority of its units affordable for at least middle-income tenants. That's folks making 80% of our area's income or less, that the city considers waivers of certain impact fees on a case-by-case basis. I'll skip back to density flexibility, which is what we decided on this year. When it comes to number 4, reservation of infrastructure capacity, we decided this year no recommendation here, as the city currently does not have an incentive strategy for this in place. However, that is because the city is finalizing this year its infrastructure study as a part of its comprehensive plan, and reservation for infrastructure will be addressed there. Number 5, accessory dwelling units, or as some people call granny flats or casitas. We made no recommendation here, mainly because our city has actually had one of the best ADU policies since the 1990s currently on the books, and we decided a few years back that that policy should be in our report. So no recommendation this year, but we've already made some great decisions on that in the past. For reduction of parking and setback, this item we felt was not specific to affordable housing. We believed this last year and the year before as well. For number 7, flexible lot configuration. Flexible lot configuration is a strategy that's already allowed under our city charter and our LDRs, land development use regulations, that's what LDR stand for, and was already in our report last year. Number 8, modification of street requirements. We made no recommendation as we felt that this was not applicable to our city. Number 9, oversight of policies. This was something that was already in place, and we voted as such, no recommendation for this year. Number 10, almost done, there's just 11. Number 10, land bank inventory, and I'll shut up so we can keep it moving. This is where we talked about a community land trust. Last year, this was a policy that we instilled where we're one of the first municipalities in South Florida to have proposed a city-run community land trust where we actually donate city lands to a nonprofit land trust that will have those lands designated for affordable homes and affordable developments for very low-income North Miami residents, which I'm excited about, but it will take the next mayor and council to implement that. Number 11, encouraging development around transit-oriented hubs. This is a strategy that we already had in place. Live Local already also kind of preempts us on this strategy quite a bit, and it's quite important given that we have quite a few new transit options, Brightline, et cetera, being built around our city. Number 3, I'll go back to this one, density flexibility, and I'll close with this. Our committee throughout this year decided to spearhead this one as a piece of leadership for us. We believe that, well, before Live Local kind of stole our thunder on this one and decided for us what we could do, we believe that for truly affordable projects that we should have some type of conversation amongst the community and our staff and the business world about having flexibility over the number of units for those projects. However, Live Local circumvented that process and put something in place already that was what we were going to propose. So we recommended that for developments that utilize the Live Local Act by our state legislature for affordable housing development, that an administrative review be conducted as well as publicly advertised hearings be held to discuss that development in the same format and manner that's already allowed and proposed in our city code. So the purpose there is saying, hey, we understand that Live Local is the law of the land and that it gives developers certain rights under density flexibility. However, we don't want any developer to take advantage of this and to shove something, down the throat of our city that the people may not want and the people may not agree with, and that community input is extremely important in everything we do as a city, particularly in real estate development and affordable housing. So we want to just make sure that any projects that use Live Local for density flexibility go through the same process of publicly advertised hearings and community input as any other development in our city. Okay, that said, I gave a summary of everything. Thank you for the time here. I'll entertain any discussion on these items, a motion, anything of the like.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to make a motion to approve.
Before we approve, I just have a question. With the land bank inventory, Ms. Bazil, as the chairman just stated, it's going to be upon the next council to actually implement this. What is the actual next steps for this? What does that look like?
Just one right now. I apologize. I'm waiting on either the land, Office of the Land Use, and I don't think it's in their purview. They refer me to finance, because this is one of the mandate of the Leave Local Act. We need to have an inventory of whatever land that the city owns. As of today, I don't have that on the city website, and I think it was due back in December 2023. So I don't think it's the Office of Land Use. I'm pretty sure it's mostly finance. I'm not sure right now who's working on gathering those information and make it available to the public, but once we have that, that's when this one is gonna get into the picture.
So the responsibility is now upon your department to identify the
Not my
department?
department. The finance department already have an inventory of all the city assets.
Correct.
So now we need to identify the land, whatever the Leave Local Act mandate, to have that available. Once we have it, then we will tie it to your recommendation.
So it is upon the Department of Finance?
As of, I'm very careful in what I'm saying. I know.
No,
that-
I realize
know-
you're being very careful, because
I
I just want to
know.
know exactly what is the next steps, because if we don't know what the next steps are, we don't know who's responsible, then there won't be any accountability.
The next step, we need to comply with the Leave Local Act. Have this list available on the city website for anybody who want to know what do the city have
Correct.
in terms of
Assets.
lands, where are they, can we use them, can we come and apply to use those lands? That's the first step. Who's responsible for that? My understanding is the finance department, as the one who manage the assets, supposed to be the one to provide this list and make it available.
Okay.
It's not there yet. So that's the first step. Then we will come back and tie your recommendation to see how we can get those assets and give them to a trust, if so is the desire of the council, because ultimately I'm gonna have to take that to council for approval.
So since this list should have been available December of 2023,
I believe so.
and,
As of now, it's not on the website,
correct,
so that's an administration question.
correct. Can we put a time frame by which this process can take place so that someone can be held accountable to making sure that it does
I will
take place?
refer that to administration. I can ask the question and find out where we are. Is it something, as someone is working on it, when it's gonna be available, and circle back?
So when
I
we
can
say
do that.
administration, are we speaking of the city manager?
The city manager's office.
Thank you.
To your knowledge, does the city have any vacant land that they can advertise for sale?
To my knowledge, I think the only piece that we have is on the west side. That's the one that we gave already to the CRA. So it does not belong to us anymore. The other one that we have is the one at the corner of Opaloka Boulevard, when you're making the curve in 135th to go to I-95.
That's the one in the flood zone.
The Magellan, that we already gave it to someone to develop, but I don't know where the hiccup is. It's still sitting here, not doing anything. That's really the two pieces that I know that the city has that we could have used for affordable housing.
Technically, we have one piece because the
One
other one
piece.
belongs to the CRA.
Exactly. One
Okay.
belongs to the CRA, and the other one basically is under contract with the Magellan Group, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Because I used to manage this contract. I know that it's under contract.
Okay.
Any other comments, discussion?
motion on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
We do. I'll continue with the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Thank you, everyone. We've just published our third report. And I want to thank the public and thank this committee. It's been an amazing opportunity to have been your chair the last 3 years. I think my term ends in November, and I know that this AHAC is going to continue to do amazing things in the years to come.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your guidance.
I
It was a
appreciate
pleasure. Well, I cannot say it was yet, but we really enjoyed it.
Thank you, thank you.
On behalf of the city, on behalf of the housing department, I thank you because it was really new to us. This thing was sunset for a minute. We had to really start from scratch. And you've been really instrumental in getting this thing rolling. I truly appreciate it. And on behalf of the city, the resident, I really thank you.
Thank you.
And to you, my board, those of you who are coming back, I'll see you soon.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Brazil.
Okay. So just to,
We might lose another one.
we might lose a few folks.
Oh my
There's
God.
some,
Let me
there's
not
some
say
council
anything.
terms
Okay.
that are coming due that we're all connected to.
As it relates to that, Ms. Bazil, on other boards that I sit on, we've asked individuals that are on the board if the individual that put them on the board is termed up, that they should quickly submit in their new application so that there is no breakdown in the process. Because it has been my experience that although the same person may be putting the person back on, if they don't fill out the application, it does take a while.
Because we were discussing that prior to starting this meeting, it takes a minute, especially if the folks who's coming are really new, doesn't know a lot about local government. It takes a minute, and now you just pointed out, even those who are coming back, we want to make sure that they reappoint the individual. Thank you. Duly noted.
You're welcome.
So just to close things out, I know some upcoming target dates we have is the adoption of this report by our city council at hopefully the September 24th meeting or the next one, if it gets postponed for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
given the incident, we're kind of behind. So we're gonna go on the first one in October
Okay,
instead of the September one.
understood. The good thing is we've got some wiggle room because the report will actually be submitted to the state in December or whenever it gets approved by council, whichever happens
It
faster,
just have to be prior to December 31st.
of course. Okay, anything else before we close out? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you so